I fought the war with the 99th Division. I was a rifle platoon leader, and I fought the Battle of the Bulge and Remagen Bridge and the Ruhr Pocket, and we ended up across the Danube at Paffenskirchen, which is the foothills of the Alps, which we were going to go up to the crow's nest or the eagle's nest, and the 101st Airborne had that mission, so we stopped there on the 8th of May. After that, they reassigned everybody to different areas, and I was reassigned to Nuremberg to get as building officer to get the building ready for the trials. So we had a lot of laborers. We had about 100 GIs guarding we had about 200 or 300 SS troopers. There were POWs at the time, of course, and we cleaned up a building, and we had to repair people. There were 7 bombs that hit the building, and so that's how I ended up there. And as soon as I had 85 points, I had to return, so I got back by the 19th of December, so I did make it for Christmas. The first day I went in, I didn't even, in fact, it was such a secret that we were going to be there for the trials that Colonel General Jodl, he took over from Hitler at the end of the war.
Right.
His wife came in with an apple and an orange. It shows you how embarrassing, and the newspapers are the same then as they are now. She came in and she said, Major Lombardo, could you give this to my husband and this apple and an orange? And I had to show ignorance, so I said, I don't know anything about that. The prison was right behind me. I had nothing to do with the prison. They came through the tunnel like most European courthouses are always across the street from a prison. They came across, and so I had nothing to do, and I had to show ignorance. And she said, the Stars and Stripes in Berlin said that the trials were going to be held here. So I'm sure my face got red a little, but I had to show denial. But that's how little everybody knew. And pretty soon they started coming in, and we had the Russian delegation only had 2 people there, but then the British and the Washington group and the French group came in. And then the Justice came in and a few of the other people. But he was one of the last to arrive there.
What was your specific responsibilities?
I was building officer to oversee the repairs.
Okay.
Construction and repairs of the building. And to take care of all the delegation, I had to supply them with supplies, that they needed for their office. So I had about 15 carpenters downstairs, and we set up a carpenter shop to repair all the desks because a lot of them had been there and been damaged. So they got them all ready, and as soon as they got them all finished, we started filling up the room, the office room, fixing up their place. But the first 5 rooms I had to do was the interrogation room, so they could interrogate Goring and Keitel and the whole works.
Were you there at all when any of the interrogations went on?
Oh, yes, but we didn't participate. I couldn't even take a photo. No, I saw them coming up the stairs from the tunnel across the way, and they went into the room, and that's the last I saw of them.
What did you think when you first put eyes on like Hermann Goering, who you...
Oh, he was pale, and at that time, we didn't even know that he was on drugs. He had been on drugs. And the minute they took him off drugs, of course, he had withdrawal. But there were 2 MPs, one on each side of him, and they took one step at a time and stopped, one step at a time and stopped, and then I found out he was so weak because they took him off of but he was pale and drawn, very gaunt and white almost, and of course he was stripped of all his medals. He had a gray uniform, and it was something to see him, but I wish we could have taken some pictures, but we weren't allowed and abided by the laws, and otherwise I'd have had some super photos today.
Now, who else did you have a chance to see?
I saw von Ribbentrop, I saw Keitel, and von Ribbentrop. One of the colonels wanted to put silk covering over the walls in the interrogation room to make an impression on Goring. Can you imagine that? The war was over, we beaten them. What do you want to impress them for? Of course we didn't follow through. We kept the plain walls. It was good enough.
How did you deal with the prisoners who were really part of your workforce, right? You had lots of Nazi prisoners?
Yeah, but they had 2 We had 2 men with each man.
Okay.
And the Germans we had no guards over. You know, the German carpenters and electricians.
How did you know that he was interested in clocks?
Well, the aide, General Donovan, who was, I think it was his aide, General Donovan, you know, he was very famous in CIA operations.
Correct.
He was one of the first to come there. He's the one that told us that there are 2 things that he liked, and one was the grandfather's clock, and the other was a white telephone. And you know they searched all over Nuremberg to get a white telephone. And they found one. He reported, we all lined up along the wall to greet him, and you know when he opened the door, it went straight for the clock. That's how much he loved clocks.
Well, when he saw the grandfather's clock, what did he say to you guys?
He beamed. He went over there and he said, where in the world you get that? You know, and I told him this whole story because the Germans put them all in the basement for protection. And when I went down there, it was dark as a dungeon down there. There were 2 or 3 lights, very, very austere. And it was full of German uniform because they used it as a air raid shelter too. It was full of uniforms, helmets, and these grandfather clocks were all in one hallway, all lined up. It was like a gold mine. So I had to search for a clocksmith in Nuremberg. The grandfather clock, I gave him the best one I had. It was great knowing him.